So this past week, I think it was actually this week on Monday, President Trump said he's considering, he was asked, how he feels about legalization of marijuana on a broader level than it is right now. And he was asked, and I grabbed this screenshot from CBS News. You want to take a look at that real quick and show everybody his response, just in case folks missed it. President Trump says his administration is weighing a plan that would reschedule marijuana from Schedule 1, which is right up there with like heroin, stuff like that, down to Schedule 3, which opens up the door for more research at the medical level, and it's a lesser offense. And he said because a lot of people want to see it reclassified because it leads to tremendous amounts of research, which is the medical part I was just saying, that can't be done unless you reclassify. So he is thinking about doing that. What's your thoughts? I know you're for that. Is Schedule 3 where you want it to be, or is there like is there like a Schedule 4 and 5? I don't even know.
I honestly I don't know, but I do know that the major distinction. I want it completely decriminalized or legalized, whatever the term is. So there might be like removing it, like descheduling it, probably would be even further there. What effectively it does, moving from 1 to 3, is saying like, oh, we could research, like as you said, we could research for medical reasons. Now, what wasn't said there, or maybe it was, but I heard it somewhere else on another cannabis related organization. They said it opens up federal funding for cannabis research. So this could be basically the taxpayers funding a government, like granting some whatever college research lab to medically research cannabis. Now, I don't like that part of it because then we're paying more money for it. Like it goes back to it'll probably end up on Rand Paul's airing of grievances. This wasteful spending. Like, why are we spending $100,000 to Yale University? I'm just making all this up for researching cannabis by college students. Like, we already have research on that, And that's the thing. Like, we already have this research. Like, we already do it. Like, why would we need to open it up for that? But there are other parts of it. Like, there is, there's a banking loophole. Like, basically, like a lot of businesses get to have like an exemption for like a tax exemption being like a business, right? But they can't because they're not federally allowed to. It's federally illegal. Right. So descheduling it to 3 allows them to get that tax benefit as a business, right? So that's probably the biggest advantage right away. Another thing is, which is why it's interesting that's coming in at the end of the year, is that the tax year next year, it could benefit them. So I wouldn't be surprised if he does this officially before the end of the new year. Or maybe he waits until after the new year so that it doesn't take effect for another year, maybe. But the timing would be interesting on that. Another thing is the doing actual banking. You could actually deposit your business funds because it's a legal business now, federally speaking, into banks or whatever. There was a lot of talk about only certain banks will do it under certain circumstances, or they have to keep a lot of cash on hand. So it gets kind of gets rid of that, like kind of just makes it more efficient, more mainstreamed. Some of the things. So I think on net, I think it's a good thing. And again, it's one of those sunset things. Like, why don't we try a sunset for, again, 20 years, and we'll try it, like, let it have some time. If it ends up being a good thing, then let's make it a law and maybe take it a step further and completely decriminalize or legalize or whatever the thing is, kind of take the next step.
I know some people who are going to would be against it. I love what you're saying about. I'm going to go back up for 1 second before we get to that point. I love what you're saying about the fact that there's a bifurcation between having it legal at the state level in certain places like Colorado, and then not at the federal level, because all those places in Colorado can't deposit their money. Like, banks don't want to touch it because on the federal level, so they deal in cash, which is kind of really dangerous because it's a pretty big business. and you're dealing in just cash, which can be, I guess, I bet you a lot of them now, because it really wasn't a big deal when Colorado legalized it, are using like Bitcoin to pay and things like that, cryptocurrency. But so maybe they took a little bit of the cash part out of it. But to have a seamless for anybody to get involved, to have it more seamless would be great,
Yes.
and maybe it would resolve some of the issues that New York has. New York is kind of screwing over the people who want to open there because it takes so long to get a license. And I don't know if people know this, but when New York legalized it, marijuana for recreational use, before you can get your license, you had to have a place of business to get the license. So in Manhattan, to have a place of business costs a fortune, right? So, the mom and pop guy and gal who want to have a place, they want to have a shop, marijuana shop, they get their space, right, in Manhattan. They're paying through the nose. It was taking the state up to 8 months to get people their permits. And unless you're a major corporation, you cannot wait 8 months of paying rent and not bringing in money. So then they would open up, because they'd be like, if we don't open up, we're going to go bankrupt. So they would open up. They'd technically be illegal because it took the government, and even Hochul admitted this was happening. And she said that it's going to change. I don't know if how effective that has been. And so then they would get arrested for being illegal because they're just trying to save themselves, because the state's creating the problem, and then they're arresting the people for the problem that they created. It's madness. So hopefully things like that would be, if there was some sort of unification model on the federal level of how it should run as far as permitting goes, then maybe it would be easier done. I don't know, but I would hope that if it were to become legal in every aspect of recreational use, that there could be some smoothing out of those really rough edges that are happening in certain parts of the country.
Well, yeah, 100%. I agree. And I hope that's what comes out of this. I hope it's a smoothing out, just kind of make it, whatever the rules are now for other businesses. I know there's still a lot of restrictions, but like relatively speaking, at least make it kind of a fair playing field. You know what I mean? Let's not send people to jail for trying to open a business.
Yeah, it's kind of nuts. And the medical part, so this is cool because, a lot of times folks think that Trump is just making stuff up. Well, a lot of times he does just make stuff up. But let's see. I'm going to grab something. Is that it? Yeah, here it is. Reason TV. And they were speaking about the legalization. And I love corroboration. So let's just listen to this little piece from the Reason Roundtable on Reason TV.
You can get pot gummies delivered to your door by UPS right now. But if you are a big pharmaceutical company, you kind of can't do research on drugs that use cannabis and then release them to the public. I mean, it's not literally completely impossible, but it's more or less impossible, right? Like the regulatory hoops you'd have to go through in order to make that happen, basically make it functionally impossible to do so in a way that is legal, where you can get funding for it, where you can do banking, all of this. Liz, you were saying.
Then he asked somebody on the show, but I wanted to play that there just so folks could see that it's not just pie in the sky type stuff from the president. That it really is true that declassifying it to Schedule 3 would make it easier. I know you don't like the funding part of it, and yes, our government gives out too much money in too many ways, but it would definitely be better for medical research. And there is, football players are well known for using marijuana because football players get beaten alive, and it just helps their bones. So there is a lot to that.
That's a good point. Yeah, for medical reasons, yeah, it might actually impact sports. So that's a good point, and that's a benefit for sure. So that's another thing where we kind of got to do it and see what kind of like things open up. Like I hope there's going to be football players and baseball players, etc., who don't get suspended for smoking a joint like on the weekend when they're not playing or something. And it's just something stupid. Like it's not a performance enhancer. It's just it's nothing. And who knows? It might help them medically for sure. Really. So yeah, 100%. This is a good thing, but there's going to be a little bit of bad too. There's going to be good and bad coming out about this. But I am happy it's happening. I hope it happens anyway. It's not official yet, but I hope it happens. But the devil will be in the details, like anything else.
Yeah, I know. There's some way you just see like it'll be recreational, but it'll be so messed up. It won't just be like you can walk in and buy alcohol. It won't be like that. There'll be some kind of crazy thing that the government's going to get wrong in the beginning. And a lot of people are going to point. This is something to look at if folks haven't really been watching this too closely. Take a look at Portland. And Portland had a lot of problems, and there's a lot of controversy when they made it legal. A lot of people who were saying don't look at Portland as an example of what can go wrong will say because they tried to they made it legal right when COVID started, and also that was also when they were having all the riots in Portland, and Antifa had their own little area, a couple of blocks there. So it was not a really good judge of what was happening. It was a very unstable city at that time. Other people say, look, it just didn't work, and so we can't make it legal. But Portland's a case study for folks who think it should not ever be legal. Go down to the Schedule 3, like Trump was talking about. But here on this show, we believe it should. You're voting for it to be Schedule 3, correct?
If I get a vote, yeah, sure, I will.
Yes. Well, you can vote on my show.
Okay, I vote in favor. Yes.
All right. So it's legal right here on our show. Light up right now.
There we go.
By the way, I don't partake. I did up until 20 years old, but I stopped, and that was 42 years ago. So I haven't smoked in a while. And nor would I if it was legal, but I think I think every drug should be legal. And I think that, you are the master of your own body. So my body, my choices for everything. And if you want to do that, God bless you. So I think we can leave it at that now. Or do you got anything else to add to that?
No, just I'll underline what you just said. It's basically if there is an issue with it, like if someone has a substance abuse problem, like whether it be alcohol or it could be drugs or whatever. Treat it as that. Don't treat it as like, oh, we'll put you in jail for 5 years. Like that's just stupid. So yeah, I agree.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. I mean, of course, it's not a gateway drug. First of all, that's just silly. You know what I mean? That's just scare tactics. It's not a gateway drug. No. But are there people who are going to abuse marijuana and become, a dysfunctional part of society? Yeah, of course, just like they are with alcohol. But you know what? If we can get to the point where marijuana is legal and regulated, like alcohol, then you know what eventually goes away? Crime related to marijuana, not all the other drugs, but crime related to, because they won't have to. If two dealers have a problem, they can't get with each other. They can't go to court and hash it out. They have to be their thugs and their guns and fight it out. This is true actually for drugs on a larger scale, which is why all drugs should be legal. But if we're just going to focus on marijuana, right? If two dealers are having that issue, they can't hire a lawyer and be like, well, I'm suing them. It's illegal. So they can't do that. So they punch each other and they fight and they shoot and whatever else they do to each other. If it's legal, and they can just go to court, right? And it also cleans up. Now that wouldn't happen right away. But the next time somebody wanted to become a dealer, they're going to be like, I can do this legally and make X and not have the law after me, or I can do it illegal and make X plus, but always have to be looking over my shoulder. The rational mind to go, you know what? I'll take the comfy life and a few less dollars and do it. And eventually, you get rid of the illegal part of that particular drug. But if you did that to a multiplier effect for all drugs, then eventually we can stop this silly drug war and just have all drugs legal, all regulated by the federal government or the state government. If they want to have their own use laws, that's fine too. Then everything I just said about marijuana would apply across the entire spectrum. Am I missing anything on this? Do you agree with that or what?
I agree. Yes.
Awesome. All righty.